Morning, everyone. On behalf of Scope, I would like to welcome you all to the one-day interactive workshop on Treasury and Financial Risk Management of PSEs being organized by Scope in association with the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India. We are also telecasting this session live on Scope's various social media platforms, so here's a warm welcome to those joining us virtually. Understanding the greater need for financial risk management in the present dynamics, Scope decided to organize this program as part of its capacity building endeavors. It is indeed a pleasure and honor to have with us Shri Rakesh Kumar Jain, Director Finance GAIL. May I request my colleague to please present sir with a planter? We also welcome Shri Atul Sopti, Director General Scope, who has been the guiding light behind the programs of Scope. I request my colleague to please present sir with a planter as a token of our respect. Shortly be joined by CA Anuj Goel, sir. He'll be joining us shortly. We are honored to be joined by Sri Lokesh Agarwal, Director Finance, ITDC and Member Scope Executive Board. May I request my colleague to please present sir with a planter as a token of our respect. We are also being joined by Dr. Amit Kumar Agrawal, Secretary Research Committee ICAI. May I request my colleague to please present sir with a planter. Welcome dignitaries. Moving forward, I would like to invite Director General Scope for his opening remarks. Sir is a visionary leader having a versatile professional experience of nearly 4 decades. Before leading Scope as Director General, Sir was CMD BHEL. In his guidance, Scope has transformed into an innovative organization while addressing various aspects relevant to the corporate sector. Over to you, sir, for your address, please.
Thank you, DP. Very good morning to all of you and welcome to Scope. I'm seeing tremendous response we have got for this particular program. I think more than 25 organizations are participating in this. And this is also being televised, as my colleague told, on various social media also. Uh, CA Anuj Goyal, who is the chairman of Research Committee, he would be joining shortly. Dr. Amit Agrawal, who is the Secretary Research Committee, Institute of Chartered Accountant, he is here. And my colleague, Mr. Rakesh Kumar Jain, Director Finance for GAIL, we welcome him also. Lokesh Agarwal, Director Finance, ITDC, and he's also on the executive board of Scope. We welcome him. We have got the faculty who have come all the way from Panchkula also. Mr. Aman and other colleagues are here. And many senior officials from the public sector fraternity are here, ladies and gentlemen. In fact, it's a pleasure for me to give this opening address as well as the welcome address to the representatives of the key domain of organization, which I call the life and blood of any organization. Time has passed over the years. If you talk the historic role of the finance guy, it used to be more of a bookkeeping and recording only. Now the things have totally changed. In fact, this has changed beyond the merely accounting to the treasury management, financial risk management, and taking very crucial decision. You can see that many of the finance people today are heading many public sector enterprises and the private sector enterprises because they are having in-depth knowledge about the operations of the organization also. When we talked about the treasury and the financial risk management and decided to have this particular program, we found that this is an area which is becoming very, very important for all the public sector executives. The reason is all of us are very well connected within the organization also, I mean between among the organizations also, internationally also, geographically borders are fading away. Number of decisions are being taken in the financial exchange area. If I talk about profit or the revenues of any organization, I always say, in fact, Projects and products are made by the technical people, engineers, and profits are made by the finance people. The point is not the finance people making the profit doesn't mean that withdrawing from the provisions or making the provisions, etc. Not that kind of profit I'm talking about. I am saying that prudent treasury management and the decision of financial risk, that makes a lot of difference. If I go back to the what you call my previous organization, BHL, I remember I was having the additional charge of director of finance for a year or so. And Lokesh ji, who is here, he was a great support to me. He was there also. We are having close to 10,000 crores of the surplus majority of the time on an average. And if you do the calculation, even if you have to take the 7% return out of that, not much, I'm talking of 7%, that time you see much more. Every day you can lose 2 crores of the interest portion. And depends how prudently you apply that. That's very, very important thing. If you talk about financial risk management, I remember, in fact, we were doing, BHEL has the presence in almost 76 countries across the globe. We did not many projects in Syria, Libya, Yemen, Sudan. And in the financial risk, we faced a lot of problems in there also. The reason is when Syria was under attack and banned, at that point of time, in fact, it was difficult to get the money here. Primary reason was that dollar transaction was not getting allowed. So how finance people have to play a major role in that particular area is became very, very important. Even at the time of bidding also, a person of marketing, he would be very aggressive, basically primarily to get the order, to find the order. But the issue is one has to see what component has to be quoted in local currency, how much component has to be quoted in the foreign currency, because one has to assess that how much the local expenditure would be required. It should not happen that the money gets stuck up there. All these aspects have to be taken here. Finance people have to play a major role in that particular things. There is another issue. While quoting, marketing people become very aggressive. That ठीक है, we'll quote, or sometimes bid bond is there, sometimes bid bond is not there, depending upon the country where it is being participated. And when you get the order, then you have to give the performance guarantee. So we welcome CA Anuj Goyal ji. Welcome, sir. And he is the chairman of the research committee, ICAI. Can welcome him, or afterwards you can welcome. Yeah, yeah, please. Well, sir, welcome. So the point is that even for the giving the bank guarantee also one has to be very, very whether we will be able to give or not. That's another important aspect. I'm talking of financial risk. We got a very big order of around 10,000 crores in Bangladesh. I'm just telling you from my own experience. That was a Maitri project, which was a joint venture of NTPC and Bangladesh Power Development Board. Now what happened? When it came the initially HSBC said that okay, we will give you the guarantees. Then when what you call final bank guarantee was to be given, they promised it. Then all of a sudden the chairman of HSBC, I don't know, that lady was there. She sought appointment with me and said that आप किसी और को ले आइए. I said, what is the issue? In fact, issue was primarily that particular project, that Ramban or whatsoever the project, Sundarban. In fact, that particular area, there were some environmental issues, and in fact, that was being examined by United Nations agencies, etc. They said, as per the system now, our head office saying that we cannot give the guarantees. The point is, all these things have to be assessed. I'm just giving you live examples which I faced during my career, and in fact, if I take you back to the 90s, etc. At that particular point, there was no foreign exchange policies in organizations. I don't know the organization from where you come from, now it is there or not. But one point at least outcome of this particular program should be that every organization need to have a foreign exchange policy. Because like if I take off late 80s or 90s, what used to happen, क्या जरूरत पड़ी है foreign exchange policy बनाने की? It is not required. And we were exporting also. We said natural hedging is the best thing which can happen. Hedging की कोई बात ही नहीं करता था at that point of time. Then came 91, if you remember. In 91, there was a devaluation of, in the July 91, there was devaluation to the tune of 19%. 20 rupees 50 paisa say it became 24.5. All of a sudden, that was a major shock. Major shock. And if a company like BHEL who are importing, they got affected. Many more organizations would have got affected because of that. And what happened after that? We had to, if that particular year, in fact, total provision was to be made for heavy losses. Then we introduced the concept. I don't know whether Lokesh you were joined by that time or not. You were not joined that point of time. Then we introduced the concept of DRI, deferred revenue expenditure, that was spent over a few years. And but the point is, we were not ready for that. If we were ready, we could have done some kind of hedging for that. Now then we appointed Mr. Rajwade at that point of time. We appointed Rajwade as the consultant and then worked out the foreign exchange policy. And now there is a what you call policies available, but still not to that extent it needs to be there. I think all of you need to discuss and work out that what needs to be done. Coming to the, I have already said the Treasury there, I was discussing with the faculty. There are a lot of things we have to do, but we are very conservative. In fact, derivatives is one area where I think our experts would be talking to you. I remember, although DP, Department of Public Enterprises, has got the guidelines that specific percentage can be invested in the private sector, but still very conservative in that. नहीं वे safe रहेंगे, public sector में invest करो, that's all. I had to go to my what do you call board for getting approval for investing in the private sector banks also, making some criteria, of course, that has to be managed very properly. So we need to think now out of box. Conservative approach, I tell you, will not be able to make profit. As I mentioned, you are the people who have to make the profit. This is one area I wanted to discuss with you, because public sectors which have contributed to the socio-economic development of the country and have presence across the globe. In fact, we need to be very careful. I like to share few figures with you. Very important. Many of you may not be aware of it, or even if you are aware, you are not visualize the kind of vastness of the operations. We are present in almost every strategic sector of the country. I need not tell you which are the study sectors. But few figures, if I talk, total revenue is 32 lakh crore. If you convert into dollar terms, it will be 389 billion US dollar. And this particular 389 billion US dollar is more than the GDP of Hong Kong, almost equal to the GDP of Singapore, more than the GDP of Pakistan and Sri Lanka put together. Just imagine the vastness of operations which you are dealing with. There is a popular belief, I'll always share, in the recent past I started sharing with the people about this analysis. There is a popular belief, and we also start defending, that we are making, majority of the public sector making losses. This is not the fact. As per the 21-22 public sector enterprise services, 75% of the PSEs are making profit. I did one, I think our experts will be able to tell us better, but I wanted to make a comparison with this. In what you call in USA, the listed company, 50% listed companies are loss making. In India, I got the data, exact data. I'll again like to ascertain from all of you or somebody else. 66% only the profit making, as per one of the report which I got. You can imagine the performance is exceptionally well. 3 days back, not 3 days back, about a week back, I was called for a what you call live interaction in one of the MSME conference in Pragati Maidan, and the person who was what do you call, who was asking the question, he started asking me that what do you call about the loss making and all those kind of. I gave him this figure. Then he said, sir, अगर ये प्राइवेट सेक्टर के पास होता तो ज्यादा पैसा आता है. मैंने कहा just listen to me. Majority of the public sectors today in the competitive market. If I talk of my previous organization, because I have the vast experience of that, I talk about that only. From the after the liberalization, majority of the projects, almost all the projects were secured against the competitive bidding. I said the presence in 76 countries, that denotes that how competitive the organization is. That's the reason they could secure the orders. Anyway, they employ 1.5 what do you call million people. 15 लाख लोग हैं उसमें काम करते हैं. तो kind of involvement which is there. अगर मैं उसकी बात करता हूँ फॉरेन एक्सचेंज की, बिकॉज दैट्स एन एरिया विच इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट, आई एम श्योर समथिंग वुड बी कवर्ड इन दैट आल्सो. The total export which is done by the public sector based on the one of the survey is 1.5 lakh crore, and imports, because in the all sector a lot of imports are there, that is close to 7.93 lakh crore. So total almost foreign exchange की dealing 10 lakh crore की है. You can imagine if this is managed properly, how much impact it can have on the financials. Another point which I was discussing before the session with Dr. Agarwal. Dr. Agarwal was saying that so much reserves are in the public sector. If they are invested prudently, then you can see the impact on the total economic condition of the country. 10 lakh crores are the reserves. That kind of reserves are there. So anyway, these are some of the figures just to involve you and the insight within you, the pride, the what you call area where you are working. We decided to have this particular program, a very important program, a very close to my heart. You know that we have entered into an MOU with the Institute of Chartered Accountant of India, a very prestigious institute, which and I have got very high regards for the institute. And they are the people who gave words to our thoughts. We said some kind of program should be there. In fact, they helped us and decided. I'm sure all of you will get benefited. This is the beginning. Based on your feedback, we'll be working further on this. And this particular association with them is not only a knowledge partnership. I mean, doing a lot of programs also, capacity building and conducting research work also. And this has been very useful. We already organized some of the programs, and many more will be organized. Uh, I think I will request Goel Saab and Agarwal Saab, we can have some kind of research work based on the inputs of our people. Uh, Research work could be that what are the foreign exchange policies, what are the best practices in this area available in various organizations. We can choose, we have been doing this kind of analysis, we can choose at least 15, 20, 25 best organizations and see what are the practices, best practices. Today it is not at one place. Yogesh, you being on our board, I think you can also take some lead in that. Let's have that at least compendium. I have seen the compendium which we have developed during the last few years. They have been become the reference documents in many areas. This is an area which we work out. We can also do some certification courses also together. I mean, lot of work can be done because this is an area which is very, very important for management of the public sector enterprises, or now public sector enterprises, for nation per se. Because what you call management accounts is not numbers alone. Now it's effectively contributing to the growth of the organization and economic well-being of the what you call society as a whole, and making this country also. We have to play a major role. Already we are fifth largest economy in the world, and in the coming years we have to become the third largest, and it will be possible. I mean, all of us have to contribute in that. Please take benefit of this particular program, and you have got the best of the faculty with you, and give us your feedback. What more programs can be organized of this nature? How did you find this particular program? And I'm sure, give your best, be the interactive person in the during the discussion, make use of this. Thank you very much. All the best. Jai Hind.
Thank you, sir, for enlightening us on the need for prudent treasury management and strategic risk management. I would like to now invite Dr. Amit Kumar Agrawal, Secretary Research Committee ICAI, to share the program perspective for today. Dr. Agrawal is Deputy Secretary ICAI and Secretary Research Committee of ICAI. He's a seasoned researcher having postdoctorate 16 years of experience. Having multiple qualifications to his credit, he has authored many books, research reports, and articles. Over to you, sir, for your address, please.
Thank you, ma'am. And I must thank to Mr. Arun Kumar, who is the architect of this program. And opportunity is being given to me to describe the program overview. But better than me, he could have described this program. One day, me and Mr. Arun Kumar were sitting together, and he thought that we should have some research. And my work already has been done by Director General Scope, Mr. Shobhati. So I must thank to him also because already a lot of insight has given to the audience. Before that, formally I greet Atul Sobti ji, Honorable Director General of ISCOP, Mr. Rakesh Kumar Jain, Director Finance GAIL, Lokesh Kumar Agarwal ji, Director Finance ITDC. I must welcome formally to my chairman, C. Anuj Goyal ji. He is the member of all the three institutes, CA, CS, ICW, Doctorate, LLB. So it's lot of energy, lot of insight. I always getting him, and he's kind enough to provide opportunity to work together with his scope. He gives us the free hand. Lot of thing, as Sopti sir has told, we are on the job. We have already done this best practices, not on this financial these best treasury or forex best practices, but best practices in term of excellence in financial reporting. What are the best practices and what are the commonly found errors? Very recently, we have came out with one publication with the support of my colleague C. N. Neha Bansal. She is there only. So I will advise all of you. It is freely available on ICI website, and if hard copy is required, then it is also available. So you go through that document. It will give you insight about what are the best practices across the India. But uh, yesterday itself, my management has approved one research study with all IFAC member bodies, 180 international member bodies like Institute of Chartered Accountants of India. We joined hand, and shortly we will be coming out with a publication on international best practices in financial management and non-financial management also. So lot of insight is already with you. So because we are behind the schedule, I will not take much time. My chairman is also there. So with these words, I take much. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for your valuable insight on a subject so pertinent today. It is our pleasure to be joined by CA Dr. Anuj Goyal, Chairman, Research Committee ICAI. Shri Goyal is the Central Council member of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India. He has made significant contributions to the profession by serving the various portfolios in the Institute for nearly 25 years, including in the Central and Regional Council. Over to you, sir, for your address, please.
Very good morning, friends. I'm really very happy that I am in this very important interactive workshop on treasury and financial risk management of the public sector enterprises. And of course, the scope, I think the way it is contributing to see that how we can build the capacity of the public sector enterprises and the professionals of the public sector enterprises, more particularly, I think something really great. We are having the presence of Atul Sopti sir, Director General Scope, and I think the best of the person. He has been the CMD of the one of the most prominent Maharatnas BHL, and is contributing like anything to see that how something really concrete can be done by the public sector enterprises. I think the backbone of the economy still is the great contribution of the public sector enterprises. And if we are the fifth largest economy of the world and going to be the third largest economy of the world, and in the purchased power parity, if we are on number 3, I think great contribution of the public sector enterprises, and we are having the best of the person as Director General Scope, Mr. Atul Sopti ji. We are having the presence of Director Finance, Gas Authority of India Limited, rather GAIL India Limited now. Authority words has been taken back because now we don't go by authority. We do go at par with other private sector entities. So now the name has been changed to GAIL India Limited. Correct me if I am wrong, Rakesh Janji. And I'm really fortunate that we have been the central statutory auditor of GAIL in the recent past. So Director Finance GAIL Rakesh Jain sir, Director Finance ITDC, and he's the member of the Scope Executive Board also, Lokesh Agarwal sir. And we are having the presence of ex-Director General Commercial of the CNAG of India, KP Sasidharan ji, a great scholar, I'll say, And we are having the presence of Secretary of the Research Committee, very young and dynamic Secretary of the Research Committee of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India, and the Secretary of the Committee on Financial Market and Investors Protection also, Dr. Amit Agrawal ji. And we are having very, very prominent faculties. You will certainly love to hear our today's faculties, CA Dr. Aman Chuk ji and CA Ruchi Sukla ji. I think she is joining soon from the Security and Exchange Board of India. No, she is from MCX. On a very, very senior position. And we are having, of course, CA Arun ji, who is taking care of each and every activities of the scope, and very, very respected senior executives of the public sector enterprises, professionals, and all other dignitaries present here. Friends, I think the way scope is contributing, I was just seeing the August newsletter of the scope. I think something extraordinary, the activities which it has undertaken and the quality which scope is maintaining. I think something really great. How we all can try to see that how we can have the best of the quality in our endeavors in the activities of the public sector enterprises. I think something that is really very important. And you see the Prime Minister Modi, the vision of the Prime Minister Modi to place India again a world power, a developed country. I think it's possible unless and until there would be very active contribution of the public sector enterprises. And the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India, you must be very well aware that it is statutory body under the Act of Parliament. And our ex late President of India, Dr. APJ Abul Kalam, rightly pointed out that Institute of Chartered Accountants of India, the Chartered Accountants are the partner in nation building. So I think many of Chartered Accountants are here, 2 Chartered Accountants are here also. So we have to prove, we have to come up to the expectation of the words of the Dr. APJ Abul Kalam. And you see the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India was formed way back in 1949, before the our great country India adopted the constitution. It became a republic on 26th January 1950. उससे पहले 1 जुलाई 1949 को Institute of Chartered Accountants of India was formed by the Parliament of this country as a statutory body under the Act of Parliament. So that was the expectation, that was the importance of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India. एक वैधानिक संस्था के रूप में. और मेरे इंस्टीट्यूट ऑफ चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंट्स ऑफ इंडिया कभी कंफ्यूजन होता है बहुत बड़ा. इंस्टीट्यूट ऑफ चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंट्स ऑफ इंडिया इज एन एसोसिएशन of chartered accountants or is a private body. Our concerned ministry is Ministry of Corporate Affairs, and we are accountable to the Parliament. जिस तरीके से C&AG is accountable to the Parliament of this country, supreme audit institution. In the same way, Institute of Chartered Accountants of India is accountable to the Parliament of this country. Any amendment in the Act, Chartered Accountants Act, can take place only by the Parliament of this country. So the members of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India and the public sector enterprises, the senior executives, I think we are having the same task on our shoulders, that how we can put our best to see that how our country can again become the superpower. अगर आप ठीक तरीके से रिसर्च करेंगे, as I am the chairman of the research committee of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India, and we have taken n number of initiatives to see that how the India can be the leader in the innovation. How can India, the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India, can be the leader as far as the research is concerned. You may not be aware, and you should be aware, that 2000 years back, India was generating 67% GDP of the world. 67% GDP of the world was from India. और वो 2000 साल पहले भी था, और 1500 साल पहले भी था, और 1000 साल पहले भी था. It is not so कि 2000 साल पहले for some time it was there. 67% GDP of the world. and we are having the potential. We are having the potential to become the first economy of the world, the topmost economy of the world in the times to come. But the role of we professionals who are the part of the public sector enterprises is very, very important. And friends, close on the heels of the green revolution and industrial revolution and IT revolution, India is now well set for knowledge revolution and accounting revolution. So our role becomes very, very important. The chartered accountants, who are one of the main constituents of India's knowledge society, are being increasingly looked upon as harbingers of such a revolution in India. One can clearly foresee India emerging as the global hub for accounting professionals, since our country is emerging as a preferred destination of global business with a series of economic reforms. The way whole of the world is banking upon the contribution of the members of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India, I think something really great. It was never there earlier. And after this Corona pandemic, how the Indians can convert the threat into an opportunity, I think this incident is the testimony. We have converted this great threat to the mankind, to the human being, into an opportunity, and we are using the technology like anything. And through knowledge process outsourcing, I think from each and every part of the world, now the members of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India and other professionals are contributing in a great way. Earlier, what was happening? That physically our movement was there, our brain drain was there, and when physically we will be there in other parts of world, then it becomes very difficult for us to come back again. But when sitting in India, we are contributing through technology, through knowledge process outsourcing for other parts of the world. I think we are serving to this great nation in a great way. So I think that should be our endeavor, that how we can try to be a great multinational. Now Indian companies or big multinationals are contributing in each and every part of the world, and now this is the time. I think the government is also trying to help us out in a great way. Our professionals are also there to help us out in a great way. In the public sector undertakings, you will not believe, अगर आप ऑयल सेक्टर की अंडरटेकिंग्स को देखेंगे तो एक एक कंपनी में 5-5 6-6 हजार 8-8 हजार चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंट्स हैं. अगर बैंकिंग सेक्टर में देखेंगे तो एक एक कंपनी में आईसीआईसीआई में एचडीएफसी में आप देखेंगे तो 5-5 6-6 7-7 8-8 हजार चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंट्स. क्यों है? बिकॉज अवर प्रोफेशनल्स आर द बेस्ट इन द वर्ल्ड. और मैं इंस्टीट्यूट ऑफ चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंट्स ऑफ इंडिया, क्योंकि प्राइवेट बॉडी नहीं है, इट इज ए स्टेटरी बॉडी अंडर द एक्ट ऑफ पार्लियामेंट, इसलिए मुझे चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंट्स को अगर प्रेस कर रहा हूँ तो मैं इंडियंस को प्रेस कर रहा हूँ, मैं इस इंडिया की डेमोक्रेसी को प्रेस कर रहा हूँ, मैं इस इंडिया की पार्लियामेंट की फोरसाइटेडनेस को प्रेस कर रहा हूँ कि जस्ट आफ्टर इंडिपेंडेंस दे कम आउट विद द स्टेटरी बॉडी अंडर द एक्ट ऑफ पार्लियामेंट. So the responsibility on the soldiers of the professionals are manifold. चाहे वो company secretary हो, चाहे cost accountants हो. Cost accountants, I'm the member of all the 3 institutes. So it is not so that the role of the company secretary is limited, or the role of the cost accountants is limited, or the role of the law graduates is limited. All the professionals are having tremendous capacity. Every Indian do have the tremendous capacity. See, if we do talk of Ambanis and Adanis, when they were not having any means, when they are not having any very great formal education, they proved that the DNA which they are having, they can go to any point. And when the circumstances are like that, I think now those opportunities are there for further more peoples of this great country. And friends, public sector enterprises are also exposed to financial risks such as liquidity risk, forex risk, interest risk, and commodity risk. Risk is inseparable from return. Every investment involves some degree of risk. It can be to zero for T-bills or very high for emerging market equities or real estate in highly inflationary markets. And risk is quantified in absolute and in relative terms. A solid understanding of risk in its different forms can help investors to better understand the opportunities, trade-offs, and costs involved with different investment approaches. Risk management involves identifying and analyzing where risk exists and making decisions about how to deal with it. Diligent risk management can help reduce the chances of losses while ensuring that financial goals are met. Inadequate risk management, though, can result in severe consequences for the organization as well as for the economy. So I think the role of the professionals in this sector is very, very important. I would also like to highlight that approach of managing treasury operations is equally very, very important. Traditionally, much of the knowledge and skills of professionals in the financial markets has been learned on the jobs. This approach has varied from the simple sit, watch, and learn approach to the sophisticated mentoring system. Today, treasury operations have grown into one of the key administrative areas of financial institutions, responsible for the processing of all the financial market transactions, including a crucial role in the control of risk. Friends, with so much of innovation and technological progress taking place in the world of finance, there is no place for players having limited skills and knowledge in treasury and risk management. And Institute of Chartered Accountants of India is trying its level to see that how we can train, how we can try to build the capacity of the professionals who are in the field of the finance and the treasury and risk management. And we are having n number of certificate courses also, Dr. Amit Agarwalji, and it is there for the chartered accountants also, and we are trying our level best that it can be there for the other professionals of the public sector enterprises also, how we can have the training programs. If not the certificate courses, we can very well have the training program. I think this is not only the responsibility, rather it's our religion as a statutory body under the Act of Parliament, that how we can build the capacity of the professionals of the public sector enterprises in particular through series of the training programs in this regard. And friends, the market punishes those who lag behind, and one of the challenges in treasury management is to keep abreast of latest techniques and trends in the marketplace and make the most out of them. We are having Mr. Chug, I think one of the best faculty or the trainer in this regard, and I will request him to see that how practically we can take the question answer session also, and how practical our deliberation can be. And friends, the biggest challenge for most of us remains the interpretation of economic indicators, changes in policy signals, and predicting the course of economic events that affect financial markets. Friends, there is famous saying that finance without strategy is just numbers, and strategy without finance is just dreaming. Before concluding, I would like to highlight the key initiatives of the research committee of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India. You are very well aware that we are having a very, very prestigious ICI Award for Excellence in Financial Reporting. Since 1958, we are having ICI Award for Excellence in Financial Reporting, and public sector enterprises are participating in a great way in the ICI Award for Excellence in Financial Reporting. We last year also had an interactive meeting. This year also we are planning to have with the scope, and since last more than 65 years, we are having this very, very prestigious ICI Award for Excellence in Financial Reporting, wherein the entities are being recognized for following excellent financial practices among their peers. We are supposed to have the best of the practices, which can be the best not only in India but across the globe. I think that is the target which we must be having, because now we are having each and everything at par with the international standards, whether it is IF. Now we are Ind AS, practically it is converged IFRS, whether it is auditing standards, whether it is ethical standards. So now we are practically at par with the international standards. So now we can very well compete with the other organizations in other parts of the world. As far as this ICI Award for Excellence in Financial Reporting is concerned, scrutiny is done by three-tier rigid process for the selection of awardees, which includes a review of annual reports by technical reviewers, head technical reviewers, sealed panel, and jury members. This year, the last date to submit the application is 15th of October. 15 अक्टूबर लास्ट डेट है, अभी बहुत टाइम है, लगभग वी आर हैविंग 2 months. So I will request Scope, the Director General Scope, Atul Sopti ji, that how we can disseminate that thing amongst each and every public sector enterprises in a great way. Each and every public sector enterprise can be the part of this very, very prestigious I say award for excellence in financial reporting, and we will certainly like to have the sessions. I will request Dr. Amit Agarwal ji for the commonly found errors in the public sector. We had the series of the webinars. I think 10 webinars we had. We had 10 for each sector. We had 10 webinars for public sector enterprises. Also, we do have 2, 3, 4 webinars. We can have physical programs also. At the cost of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India, we can have it. So cost is not a problem neither for the Scope nor for the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India. But as it is my responsibility as a regulator, Institute of Chartered Accountants of India is a regulator. It's my responsibility to see that how we can have the best financial practices, what are the commonly found errors in the financial statements, and how we can improve. So I will request Mr. Sopti, how we can try to see that how we can build the capacity and how we can train our finance professional in particular. We are having ICI research project scheme. I was just I joined late, but I could listen Atul Sopti sir, that how we can have some very, very good research. Neha Bansal, our executive from Institute, CA, she is there to note down whatever suggestions you have made. And we are having ICI research project scheme in which all of you can participate. And the research committee launched it under my chairmanship in 2020. Dr. Amit Agarwal was the secretary, with the aim to fund research project to be undertaken by members having experience of more than 10 years, either in practice or in employment, or experienced research scholars. So there is no need that only chartered accountants can be the part of that. अमित जी ने अभी मुझे घड़ी दिखाई है. देखो इस मुझे पता है इट्स अ वेरी वेरी सीरियस प्रोग्राम, बट वी शुड बी वेरी वेरी सीरियस इन अवर अप्रोच. पर इसको आप जरा थोड़ा सा हल्के फुल्के में लेंगे ना, सीरियसली हो, पर जो है ना वी शुड बी. अभी अमित जी मुझे घड़ी दिखा रहे थे, तो एक बार एक इंस्टीट्यूट ऑफ चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंट्स ऑफ इंडिया के सेंट्रल काउंसिल मेंबर थे, वो कहीं एड्रेस कर रहे थे, तो ऑर्गेनाइजर्स वर टेलिंग, ओ सर सर यू हैव एक्सीडेड द टाइम लिमिट. So that central council member was telling that, sorry, oh, my watch is not working today. तो वो सोप्ती जी बोलते हैं कि सर वो कैलेंडर तो है सामने, पता लगा डेट ही चेंज हो गई. तो अगर किसी को आप माइक दे दो जिसको ना बोलना आता हो, तो सबसे ज्यादा बोलता है, और जिसको बोलना आता है ना, उसको सबसे कम टाइम मिलता है. So I will not be taking much of the time, but in the ICI research project scheme, we are reimbursing the amount up to 10 lakhs of rupees to the eligible researchers, and number of researches have been undertaken in which we have contributed in a great way, not only for the society, for the trade and industry, but also for the government, also for the country. And we have submitted those research findings to the various central governments, ministries, and state government ministries. So I will request all of you to come forward, and Dr. Amit Agarwal ji through Scope, through Atul Sopti sir, through Anand ji, will share this ICI research project scheme details with all of you. Then we are having ICI doctoral scholarship scheme. In this, we do support those youngsters who want to do PhD on full-time basis. That is not that you are working with any public sector enterprise and can do the research. If one is doing the research on full-time basis, then we are having the scope of 75,000 rupees per month honorarium for 3 years, totaling 27 lakhs. Yeah. Totaling 27 lakhs. So we want to see that how we can really handhold the young researchers up to the age of 40 years. Then we are having short-term research studies also. We are having very, very prestigious ICI International Research Award. 3 years back, for the first time in the history of the accounting profession, we initiated ICI International Research Award. India is one of the member of the International Federation of Accountants, IFAC, and we are the only institution with the ICI International Research Award. In the first year, second year, third year, the president of International Federation of Accountants, IFAC, was the chairman of the jury. And this year we are having this very, very prestigious International Research Award. In Gulf countries, in Dubai, we are having very, very strong presence of the members of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India. 20,000 chartered accountants are there in the Gulf countries. On 19th of October, we are having this ICI International Research Award, and the researchers from more than 35 countries have participated in this ICI International Research Award from each and every part of the globe. And as we are having very, very prominent speakers, very, very important sessions, I will not be taking your further time. I will not like to come between you and our honorable speakers. I once again compliment the scope, Atul Sopti ji, Arun ji, Rakesh ji, Lokesh ji, and all other representative of the public sector enterprises for being very, very active. And I'm quite confident that this interactive workshop on treasury and financial management, financial risk management will be very, very learning initiative, and we will be richer in the knowledge after having the deliberation of the very, very prominent speakers like Mr. Chug and Ruchi ji. Thank you very much, friends.
Thank you, sir, for the interesting perspective on the subject and the collaborative efforts of ICAI and Scope for capacity building of PSEs. It is our pleasure to be joined by Shri Rakesh Kumar Jain, Director of Finance, GAIL. Sir is a cost and management accountant by profession, a seasoned finance professional, and having a long career in various aspects of finance. Shri Jain has an extensive experience in treasury management, having headed the corporate finance and treasury section in the Maharatna organization. Over to you, sir, for your address, please.
And good morning to all. Respected Sopti ji, DG Scoop, Chairman Research Committee, ICI, Anuj ji, Secretary, again Research Committee, Shri Amit ji, Lokesh ji, Director of Finance, ITDC, renowned faculties, dear participants present physically and also connected virtually. It's really a very relevant subject in today's context. I compliment the ICICI for suggesting such a wonderful subject. It's not only relevant, it's very important. I have been asked to give industry perspective, though it's difficult to, to speak before researchers and these such a renowned faculties, but let me try to give something. If you see GAIL, I will say from GAIL's perspective, GAIL's balance sheet, if you see, it's last year we had a revenue of 1,43,000 crore. And why I'm giving this? Ours is a dollarized balance sheet, and 90% of revenues almost come from dollarized convergence. We had a capex of 10,000 crore. I'm telling from perspective of liquidity management. We last year purchased and sold currency worth rupees 1 trillion rupees. We are carrying out significant amount of hedging in our organization, the commodity hedging I'm talking. We are also doing the currency exchange risk management. If we see the commodity hedging, we are doing significant amount of hedging. On national contract value basis, last year we did 6,000 crore rupees of hedging. This year it will be much more. I will try to cover this subject in two parts. One maybe a little simpler one. why treasury and what is the importance of treasury? Because if you don't manage your treasury properly, it will create a liquidity risk. Liquidity risk is very, very critical. If you don't manage it properly, either you will end up with surplus of funds, which actually will remain idle, or if you actually don't maintain other way around, it will create a problem of non-fulfillments of commitments, and which will create, situation like insolvency. So in order to do so, what we do? We do our fund management on short-term and long-term basis. Let me tell you, we have a centralized banking system in Gale. We on daily basis open a cash flow at least for a 1 year on short-term basis. On everyday basis, we update it. Which part of the period in a year we have surplus funds, which part we have shortage of funds. And that is almost online, you can say, because when we update it daily, we are able to take a call where to invest or when to borrow. Where to invest, Sopti was saying that largely we are conservative. We actually invest in public sector. Let me tell you, in Gale, we have a very robust process of empanelment, and we have equal numbers of public sector and private sector banks which are empaneled for the purpose of borrowing. And in terms of DP guideline, of course, we have to follow that. Up to 50% only we can invest in private sectors. So we have board approved policies, because whatever you do in our kind of system, we have board approved policies, standard operating procedures. In terms of that, we have good amount of public, private, and foreign banks as our empaneled banks for both, for deposits, for borrowings. And for long-term funds, as I said, for short-term funds, we make our through our model we arrive at a whether fund are surplus or deficit. For long-term, we make cash flows for 5 years period to 10 years period based on our projected projects, cash outflows, where we are going to invest, what kind of revenues will those projects will bring in. So I said this is actually a simpler part of it. We are doing it through our board approved policies, and these policies are not like we made it and we forget it. We regularly review the policies, not only to align with the current market conditions, also to see whether it are meeting the change conditions as changed time to time by regulator like RBI or any government guidelines. So it's also a process which we carry out on regular basis. The second part is risk management, which in our country may be considered to be a very recent phenomena. When I said and shared the data, there was a purpose that out of 1,43 crore rupees of our revenues, 90% is a dollarized balance sheet. And 90% is a dollarized balance sheet. It brings two kind of risk. One is currency risk, another is a commodity risk. Currency risk we are managing through dollar hedging. For that, actually, we have set limits. In our organization, we have board approved policy for foreign currency risk management, because everything you cannot hedge. You have to take a call based on your organization, what kind of appetite you have, what kind of currency risk you can keep it open, what kind of currency you need to hedge. Because 100% hedging is also not a good idea, because then you are telling a very bad call. So we almost have 90% of revenues from related to dollar, and therefore we need to take a call in terms of currency risk, and we are doing on regular basis. Just to give an example, like we have kind of say $300 million kind of risk, we can keep it open currency, or 5% of profit on annual basis. We will be able to take limit. There are separate limits which keep, and whenever these limits are breached, we have to take a call, should we hedge totally or not. But now we are significant presence in commodity hedging. And commodity hedging, because our country, if you talk, because I am in oil and gas, 85% of crude is imported, almost 50 to 55% of gas is imported. And when we import oil and gas, it's such a volatile market. we have seen in last 2 and 2.5 years gas in terms of pricing LNG, we have seen $2 per MMBTU. MMBTU is a term in which the LNG is traded. We have seen $2 per MMBTU, and let me tell you, at one point of time, we have seen $100 per MMBTU. Can you believe that? 50 times such a volatile market. If you see crude, we have seen at one point of time when the corona was at its peak, a spot market was as negative at a throwaway price. You take commodity and take money because there was no place for storage. And we have also seen the spot, the crude recently after Ukraine war touching 130, 140 at some point of time. How to manage those risks, how to market your product, how to ensure your bottom lines. And under such circumstances, the risk management becomes very, very important. In 2012-13, GAIL contracted for gas, significant part of the gas contracted from United States. If you see from the portfolio perspective, out of 14 MMTP of LNG, we have 5.8 we contracted from United States. And now why I'm referring to this? Uh, our country used to have contracts of gas in terms of the crude linked contracts, because we are very comfortable with crude linked price, and always gas is at a discount to crude, so people are comfortable. But when we imported gas in Henry Hub, because when you import gas from United States, it's a different index, and that index is very alien to this part of the country, geography, world. So this was not a marketable product because the gases we purchased at Henry Hub, this part of the geography believes in crude link contract. So when we contracted in 2012, gas was to flow in 2018. We had two kind of risk. One is the volume risk. Certainly, volume risk can only be mitigated through contracting out the volume which you purchase. But price risk cannot be mitigated unless you take unless you pass on the index risk to the customer, or you take some kind of derivative risk through which you can actually make your customer comfortable. So that's how that prompted us to set up commodity hedging desk in our organization, and we began it in 2016. And why we are doing for 2 to 3 purposes. One, for internal consumption, because we also consume almost 1.25 mmtp of gas for our internal consumption of petrochemical plants, and that the input and output are not correlated. So you have to take a call. If they are correlated, then that risk gets passed on in terms of final product. But you have to take a call when to take a hedging for actually maintaining input price at a certain level, so that it doesn't go beyond affordable level. So in order to keep your input price under control, that was the one purpose. Second, to make the Henry Hub product marketable to this part of globe. So we were required to take a basis swaps. We were required to convert the Henry Hub gas to crude linked contracts. Third, some of the customers, they don't believe in volatility in prices, so they want a fixed price of kind of contract. So we were required to have swaps. So we created our desk. This desk is excellently working, and I share another data that last year we has almost 6,000 crore rupees of we had 6,000 crore rupees of notional contract in terms of hedging, and this year it is going to go up significantly. But when we talk of the hedging, or when we talk in treasury, we have certain kind of risk and which we have encountered. Liquidity risk I shared. Second risk is market risk, which also I shared. Market risk in terms of currency price fluctuation. Interest risk. We have seen how interest prices have gone up in last 1 year. Repo rate has increased significantly. So can you, or will you allow your loans, borrowings to be at the mercy of the market? Where interest rates have increased significantly globally, and certainly it has impact. And the currency risk. So when you make the policies, you have to address all those issues, like how to address the liquidity risk, how to address the market risk, then operational risk. When you have a treasury, operational risk in terms of regulatory compliances, the people, the kind of legal compliances you are required. So that policy should also address about that. And the fourth is counterparty risk. When you deal with the counterparty, how you are actually arriving at that counterparty, what kind of background that part, because you can has, but if counterparty does not honor that, what will happen to that? So when you select the counterparty, whether in terms of investment, if you are talking of banks, private sector, public sector banks, we have a robust mechanism of selecting them. And when we select the hedging counterparty, we also have what kind of experience they have, what kind rating they have, what kind of net worth they have, what kind of presence they have globally. So those are the things which we take care, and based on that we actually address. So we have a robust kind of policy, board approved policy, and then there is a governance framework, because in any risk mitigation measure, not only you need to identify the risk, assess the risk, evaluate the risk, take the mitigation measure, but need to have excellent governance mechanism. You know how those reportings will be done, on what periodicity it will be done, so management is fully aware. And why it is important, let me tell you, hedging is not done on a, like public sector tender is invited, then you will wait for a day or two. It's taken a fraction of seconds that call is to taken, and that call is taken by not general manager or ED or director. The E3, E4 officers are taking that call for hundreds of crore rupees at that point of time, and they are empowered. But when they are empowered, there has to be check. You have to have a good governance structure, how those reporting will flow. So we have excellent reporting governance structure, so that whatever hedging is taken, the not only the functional director or the committee of risk management committee, but also board is apprised time to time. So I could have said more, but considering the shortage of time, I think I should limit my speech. So just I wanted to brief you about the perspective, why it is important, the why treasury is important, and why financial risk management is important. It has a very significant role, not only from oil and gas perspective. Let me tell you, when we placed orders for various projects during this Ukraine war period, we got significantly higher cost in terms of metal when we are because we are in the business of laying pipeline and putting. So lot of impact was there in on those order placements. So risk management is very relevant. Again, I thank you, Sopti ji, to you and ICIC Research Committee for bringing out such an excellent topic. We certainly will enlighten a lot of. There are excellent faculties, and I think they are more aware than me. But whatever I know from the industry point of view, I thought let me share with you to bring the importance of this subject for our industry or business. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir, for sharing the industry perspective on why Treasury and the importance of Treasury. Also joining us today is Mr. Lokesh Kumar Agarwal, Director Finance, India Tourism Development Corporation, and member Scope Executive Board. Shri Agarwal is a qualified cost accountant from the Institute of Cost Accountants of India and also Company Secretary from the Institute of Company Secretaries of India. Having qualifications in areas of audit, economics, law, and a diverse experience of over 3 decades, Sir has played an important role in financial decision making in ITDC, BHEL, and EESL. I invite Sir to kindly give the closing remarks and vote of thanks. Over to you, Sir.
Good morning, everyone. First of all, I would like to say I would really like to congratulate both Scope and CA team. It's a really topic of the day. It's very close to my heart personally because I have handled treasury and financial management for around 15 to 20 years in BHL, where, as the DF Gales rightly mentioned, from E to E3 level, I handled it when I used to take live decisions, and then I headed the treasury. And there, uh, again, I would be speaking 1 or 2 minutes on because of my own experience. So here, in the treasury management, this is one area where really finance people can make a difference because otherwise the production or the engineering people are one who take the company forward. But however, this is one area where unless you manage it properly, whatever revenue company has earned, you unless you don't manage it efficiently, there is a huge amount of leakage which can take place, and conversely, huge amount which you can make earn for the company. And there again, if you are really fortunate, like we were in BHEL, like Sopti sir was our chairman and director of finance. He gave us so much support. Anytime we could go and meet him, E3, E4 level, we can go to meet him, as rightly mentioned by Gail, DF. Decision is to be taken in a split of second. If 500 million you are buying from the market, market will not hold you. If you want market to hold for you, they will build in their price. Half paisa or 1 paisa makes a huge difference. So you have to be empowered to take lively decision. And once you take right decision, and then the management trust you, the company really benefits a lot. One or two again more examples I would like to give. Like in 2002, BHL has always been pioneer in the financial and forex management. 2002, we raised foreign currency rupee bonds at 8.75%, and at that time we did a full currency swap into dollar terms, where because we felt that the dollar and those who generally follow the financial and the forex market, there the dollar the LIBOR rates follows a pattern. It goes up, comes down after a gap, again goes up, comes down. So like now from 0 to Fed rate has gone to now 5.5%. There again at that time, it was a very high and was coming down. So BHL took a call. It swapped its fixed rupee liability into forex liability, interest foreign and LIBOR we assumed. So with the passage of time, it went down. We gained a huge amount. We gained out of our currency swap, and the cost of 8.75% in fact came down to 3 to 4% over a period of 2 to 3 years. So all such things we have done. Recently, I remember from 5 to 6 years back, we were borrowing. So what we thought that, yeah, we have virtually, we could have, we had nearly used all the instruments available in the market. Then we thought, why not to use even commercial? Commercial paper is a normal instrument, but what we did, we tried to borrow it on a monthly commercial paper rate, so that interest rate is very low. So some certain amount we kept aside for borrowing through commercial papers, let us say 500 to 1,000 crore backed by the bank limit. And there the cost suddenly came down by more than 1%. So if you see 1,000 crore, 1%, that much amount you are simply taking by taking a decision. So there are a lot many things where you can contribute. A big unit of BHL, let us say, would be contributing 50 crores in the profit of 100 crores. Our treasury department could contribute that amount. So why I'm trying to say this is a huge value addition for the company, for the public sector, and for the country, and really again commendable for the scope and CS2 to come together to organize this workshop. And I would still say that one day probably is not very appropriate time to convey the message or to discuss the all the modalities of the forex and financial market. Probably we can have another time, 2 to 3 days meeting to discuss the entire thing in very detail. So having said so, it's my really honor to propose the vote of thanks for the conclusion of the inaugural session of Treasury and Financial Risk Management of PSEs. At the outset, I would like to express our sincere thanks and gratitude to Atul Sopti sir, who has been my boss earlier and now again probably a really a dynamic boss of PSOs in a way, working as DG Scope. Thank you, sir. Doctor would like to thank Dr. Amit Kumar Agarwal, Secretary Research Committee, for taking his time out. CA Anuj Goyalji, Chairman Research Committee, for sharing his views and giving a perspective. And thank you very much to our DF Rakesh Kumar Jainji, Director of Finance GAIL, for giving a real broad perspective with the huge volumes in a company like GAIL. We are grateful to all of you for taking our time today to address the workshop on Treasury and Financial Risk Management of PSEs. I'm sure your words of encouragement to the participants will really motivate them to take the challenging roles and aspire for senior position in the organization. And again, as I said, this is one area where we can really make a difference to the companies working. I welcome our esteemed faculty members for taking the session forward and enlighten the participants with their expert knowledge and domain knowledge. We also welcome session chairman, speaker, and participants for being here and making this workshop successful. Hope all of you find the workshop very interesting, informative, and lots of takeaways for your future endeavors. Last but not the least, I would like to thank Scope team for seamless organization of this workshop. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for summarizing the session with your valuable insights. On behalf of SCOPE, we would like to extend our thanks to our distinguished dignitaries who spared time from their busy schedules and joined us today to enlighten the participants. Thank you to the organizations who have supported our endeavor by nominating delegates. We also extend our sincere thanks to the Institute of Chartered Accountants for their incessant support for the program and to the entire team of SCOPE. With this, we come to the end of the inaugural session, and we request all the participants to please join us back in the to-go chambers by 11:30 for the technical sessions. Please note that a certificate of participation will be given at the end of the program, and do not forget to collect it from the registration counter. Thank you so much.